Saturday's battle with Alabama A&M is all about Payton Thorne.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zach Blackerby, and thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. It's a Crane Kick Thursday. Jake Crane of Crane & Company hanging out with us, as he does every single Thursday. My guy. All right, so football's finally here, Jake, and obviously Auburn hosting Alabama A&M. It shouldn't be close. It shouldn't be this competitive game, but you and I were talking about this before we click record. This game still, regardless of the talent differential, regardless of the coaching differential, it's all about Payton Thorne.
Yeah, and to everybody out there that thinks, oh, it's Alabama A&M, we're not really going to know anything. Well, you're not going to know a lot, but you always learn something from a football game, especially when you have a new team together. I put some things down, and we're going to talk about this on Crane & Company as well, because there are a lot of games that are quote-unquote cupcakes. There's some good ones, but when you look at Payton Thorne, obviously him individually, it's about decision-making for me. I'm not saying we should be able to do whatever we want. We should be able to run it when we want to run it, throw it when we want to throw it. But what I want to see is whenever he's in one of those conflict plays, right, the RPO, the zone read, where he's got to make a decision mid-play based on what he is seeing, is he making the right decision? I'm not worried if Auburn's going to be 55-45 run to pass or pass to run. What I want Auburn to be is we're taking advantage of what the defense is giving us, and we know what we're looking at. And that's not just the RPO game. That's not just zone read. You want to see his timing on the drop back stuff, right? Getting the ball out when it needs to get out, seeing if the chemistry's there, especially with the young guys. But I've got 5 things really quick, Zach, that overall that I think Auburn fans need to watch for in this game to get something out of it, other than just enjoying being back in Jordan-Hare and watching Auburn play. One is the organization overall, right? Not only just how the team plays, but how are they on the sidelines? How many procedure penalties are Auburn getting? Are they having to run guys on and off late? Does it look like there's kind of chaos on the sideline getting ready for or during game one? Special teams as well. Is everybody getting out there when they're supposed to be getting out there? Is Auburn taking timeouts in smart spots, right? Game management, what we hear people complain about with Billy Napier and Mario Cristobal. I mean, heck, Sean McVay from the Rams even hired a timeout coach, basically. 2, turnover margin. Are we handling the small stuff well? Handoffs, play action, working through reads. Are we turning them over on defense and being opportunistic and going after the ball? 3 is third down emphasis. Are we creating advantageous third down scenarios on both sides of the ball? Is Auburn able to stay on schedule? Are we living in 3rd and 2, or are we living in 3rd and 7? Then on the other side of the ball, defensively, are we putting them in 3rd and passing and being able to mix our coverages? And how many exotic blitzes are we going to get in this game? Probably not a lot, unless DJ and Charles want to put something on tape for other teams to have to work on that they're not really going to do. A couple more. 4, the rotation. Are we able to get young guys exposure down the stretch? And that's not just when the backups come in, hopefully when you're up 40. That's some of these young players that Auburn are expecting to make plays for them early in their career and in big games. And finally, and this may be the most, outside of just the schematics of the game, the most important, it's a confidence test. Do we look like we're the big dogs in this game? Are we dominating Alabama A&M the way we should dominate Alabama A&M? Does it look like we're kind of nervous, or does it look like we're anxious? I'll take anxious every single day of the week over nervous. Auburn needs to come out there and bury them early, and when they got a chance to go for the throat, they need to go for the throat. There are no prisoners in this game. You got to kill them all.
The turnover one really stood out to me, and that's something I talked about earlier in the week, Jake, where even when Auburn was playing lesser opponents like the Samford game last year, where Payton had all these great numbers, and it's like we still turned it over. And like against Cal, it's like everybody that touched the football seemed like they wanted to fumble it. It's like, can you take care of the football? That to me, I think, is probably the thing I'm paying most attention to and putting the biggest emphasis on. But all 5 of these make a ton of sense.
Yeah, and again, there's going to be some games where it is like that, but a lot of this, and look, we watched them, and I'm not saying Auburn is Michigan. Please don't misconstrue me. I watched Michigan basically continue fall camp for the first 3 weeks of the college football season, the last couple seasons, and we're going to see, especially on the offensive line, guys got to go out there and perform during the game. Some guys practice better than they play. Some guys play better than they practice. Hugh Freeze talked about the eye in the sky doesn't lie, especially when the lights come on. And that's the truth. But yeah, I mean, again, you take advantage of them. Take advantage of you are better than they are. You should be at every single position group. So you don't need to turn the ball over. I want to see the defense turning the ball over. Not only turning it over, scooping and scoring it. Let's go get some points. Let's go put this offense in a good position. And then, obviously the kicker situation's a little bit interesting as well. That's going to be something we can learn. But yeah, it needs to be clean. It needs to be fun, but it needs to be dominant.
So of the 5 you said, overall organization, turnovers, third down emphasis, rotation, and confidence, which of those is the biggest, I guess, concern? Which of those are you least confident about for Auburn on Saturday?
I would, if Auburn was playing a team that was close to Auburn, I would still worry a little bit about Payton Thorne's, ability to make the right decision with the ball in that RPO game. I would probably say rotation. That's the one that I don't know if I would call it a concern, Zach. It's just like guys put depth charts out. If the depth chart was correct, Auburn's going to start 45 players on defense, which that means we're going to have the best defense in the country because 45 guys are going to be
imagine that. Imagine all the fun
it's a great strategy.
You could do with 45 guys, right?
Yeah, who'd have thought? But no, I would probably say the rotation and just seeing the young guys. Like, again, practice, like high school recruiting, all this stuff is great. But when you're out there and it's real, not even spring game, but real, how do you answer?
Yeah, because up to this point, the rotations, like on paper, they look solid, but they're just that. They're on paper. And so, like, what does this actually look like when you're subbing guys in and out every single play? I'm with you. Because up to this point, it's all been hypotheticals. Mm-hmm. And when you're going up against other people that want to beat you and want to pull off the upset, it changes the whole calculus of all of this. Particularly to me, wide receiver and defensive line are the two spots for me where I'm like, the rotation there looks fine on paper, but we got to see it actually come to fruition.
Yeah, and I mean, Auburn should live in that. They should have to pay rent in the backfield in this game for what they're going up against. And that depth, right? It's what we've talked about. Look, you don't win championships. You don't have really successful seasons with your starting 22. You do it with your starting 66. And Hugh Freeze has turned this roster over, right? He's got them ready. Auburn has all the resources, the facilities, just got voted like #1 happiest campus for students. Okay, go out there and play good, right?
Yeah.
You all stuff, go out there and play good.
Yeah. All right. So what are the predictions from Jake and myself for Saturday? We jump into that in just a moment, right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show is brought to you by our friends at 5 Hour Energy. Look, if you're tired after lunch, you're not alone. In fact, research shows that more than 70% of us hit a wall after lunch. Let 5 Hour Energy help you leap over that wall instead of crashing into it. 5 Hour Energy is the brand working hard people like you have trusted for over 20 years. To give them the alert, energized feeling they need to get through the busy, hectic day. You always know where to find 5 Hour Energy shots, right at the cash register at nearly every convenience store, but also online. You can go to 5hourenergy.com. That's the number 5hourenergy.com and get some 5 Hour Energy product today. Then you can use our promo code LOCKEDONCFB, all one word, to receive 20% off your order. This offer is only valid through September 30th. On one order and cannot be used with other promotions, and it's not good on subscription orders. But head over to 5hourenergy.com today. Jake, when you look at this game, Auburn should win by a lot. What's the point differential in your mind that's like, okay, this wasn't a success?
I would say within 21 probably, but again, I've got to see the way the game goes. I always say box scores, they're like the trailer for movies. They tell you a little bit about what happened, but they don't tell you the whole story. And to be honest with you, sometimes the trailer is better than the movie ends up being. So sure. I would say probably 21 points, but a comfortable margin where I would say, Auburn came out, handled, did what they need to do. The spread's at 48, so I think 40 and above would be something. I mean, am I going to get upset if they win, 48 or 45-0 or 45-3. No, but a lot of it is just how it looks and how they go about it, because you can dominate the whole game and you put in the backups late, something crazy happens or a couple crazy things happen. And I don't know, that 48 number is a lot though.
48's a lot of points. It's a lot of points, and especially if they elect to run the ball more, and that's a running clock, especially in the second half when the backups are in. 48 points is a ton. It's hard to
Can I make a prediction real quick, Zach, on something I think is going to happen though? I don't know, and it may not, and it has to be returnable. Okay, and I'm not saying the first kickoff of the game, because that may go to Alabama A&M. Auburn may defer to halftime, but I got a sneaking suspicion that Auburn's first kickoff return that is returnable, that they want to return, they're going to the house with it. I don't know, man. And it may be Jarquez. It may be. I think he's back there as well. I think Malcolm's back there with him, or am I losing my mind here?
We've seen a few different guys
we'll
there.
See.
But yeah, but Malcolm's been listed there for sure.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see who they put at off returner, because God, you want to talk about a position guys hated to play. Was that off returner, knowing, oh, I'm back here to return the ball, but I'm not the one that's supposed to get it. I hope they kick it the wrong way.
Right. Yeah. And if not, I got to go hit somebody.
I got to go block. I got to go run into the fire. Like,
and those are guys that aren't used to blocking. That's right. That's right.
I will say, we used to tell the off returner, you run the return like you have the ball, right? So therefore, the first guy that's going to conflict you where the ball's supposed to go, you pick him up. So whenever you're watching returns, that off returner typically is the guy that springs the returner, because he picks up that first threat.
Yeah, that's important. No question. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see. And I mean, is there a freshman you're most excited to see? Don't say Cam Coleman. Other than Cam Coleman that you're most excited to see on Saturday?
Freshman. I tell you, Marcus Williams. I want to see him. The guy I'm most excited to see, and I know you asked me for, I think Riddick. I'm excited to watch him too. And not Vin Diesel, but the one we got from Georgia, which hell, Vin Diesel maybe from Georgia. Who knows? Falk. I want to see Falk. I want to see him. I want to see if, all right, we got one. Like, I don't know. From what I've been hearing, they're really, really, really excited about this cat.
Yeah, they, I mean, if Keldrick is the dude that we think he can be on Saturday, Alabama A&M can triple team him, and he'll still, I
hope they do, because guess what? You can't double everybody. Here comes Crawford. Here comes the rest of the boys. So, yeah, I'm excited to see Keldrick.
Yeah, no question about it. No question about it. All right, Jake, thank you so much for your time as always. My God, football's back. We made it. Congratulations to you making it.
My body's ready, Zach. My body is ready. Hope everybody stays safe out there. And we're going to be down. I think we're going to be down at Auburn for a couple games this year. So
which ones do you know yet?
I think there's a pretty good chance we're going to be down there for the A&M game. We're going to be unfortunately, going to be in Tuscaloosa for the Georgia-Bama game. I think between me, you, and the fence post, we're going to live stream the game from a popular bar by campus down there. So wish me luck on that.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. All right. Well, hey, please like the video. Please subscribe. We'll see you next time. This has been Locked On Auburn.